just keep finding new pieces that we didn't know we designed. This is just
Amazing, yeah. So you guys are still coming across pieces. Oh, that was part of our
this
collection
one,
from then.
because on a lot of military, so say in this one, you can see there's a stamp that says BMC.
Yes.
That stands for Belstaff Manufacturing Company. Wow. But that was kind of unknown until quite recently. So then we're finding all these pieces that we wouldn't have known.
What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video with myself, Hoxton. Guys, so listen, in this video I'm making my way down to Longton, which is based over in Stoke-on-Trent, and the reason why I was heading down there is because Belstaff were doing their 100-year anniversary, and basically they were going to do a archive exhibition event in the hometown of Longton, which is where the brand was originally found way back, I believe in 1928, something like that, 1924. A long time ago. Yeah, 1924. That would make sense, wouldn't it? That's why it's the 100 years, obviously. But whilst I was in Longton, I wanted to go and see some local businesses. So I found this pie and pastry shop, which was really nice, actually. And the prices were really decent. So big shout out to Wrights, I think they're called. Yeah, man, the food was banging in there. It was not too bad. But as I was making my way through the town of Longton, it was really sad to see once again so many different shops had closed down. Lots of retailers, empty retail units. Same story everywhere I go, up and down the country. And to be honest with you, it's quite a sad state of affairs. And I feel like when you go to the cities, they make it seem like the cities are thriving. Well, to some degree, because that wasn't the case when I went to Birmingham, and it didn't seem to be the case when I went to Sheffield. But with London, they just kind of focus so much on London, and you think everything was going well because of London. But when you look outside of London, actually, there's a lot of deprived communities, shut down shops, lack of industry, and it's disheartening, man. I'm not gonna lie, it's quite disheartening. I mean, look, when I walk down here, look at all these closed down shops and buildings. I mean, what is going on here, man? These shops need to be put back in action. They need to be let out to the public. Like, something needs to be done. Something has got to be better than these shops just sitting derelict in the middle of town. Really sad state of affairs, to be honest. But anyway, before I go on with my rant, Longton is actually known for its pottery industry, which has been going on for over 220 years. And that's the thing, when you come outside of London and you go to a lot of these small towns, especially up north, you see that there were once thriving communities for the cotton industry, fashion industry, metalworks, and in Longton's case, it was pottery. But anyway, as I was walking around, I was walking up and I was getting closer and closer to the Belstaff event, which was held in a place called Gladstone Pottery Museum, which is like a museum that showcases the pottery industry that had taken place in Longton. What was also really cool is I managed to bump into some followers there as well. So as you can see, they were just walking off, but we had a good chat, and they were telling me that they really enjoyed the exhibition, so they had just come from there. And what was cool is they were all dressed in Belstaff, and you know what? The attire looked really nice on them. I thought just seeing them all in Belstaff, I don't know why, it just reminded me of like when I see people wear kind of Stone Island, like it just, I don't know, it just looked good. I thought, you know what, Belstaff has come a long way and they're really trying. But just before you get to the exhibition, there was this kind of area here that Belstaff had set up, and it was where they were selling a lot of their merch. You could buy some clothing. They had their the 100-year anniversary book, which was in there, which I managed to grab a copy of, and they also had some vehicles there you can see as well, which was, I don't know, all part of the showcase of the 100-year Belstaff event. I think it was about 2.5 hours or something like that to get down to Longton. Longton actually has a population of about 11,000 people, so it's not a massive town in that sense, but it's got quite a long history. And with regards to Belstaff started as the Belstaff Manufacturing Company in Longton, and that was back in 1924 when it was founded by Eli Belovich and his son-in-law. It wasn't his son, it was his son-in-law, Harry Grosberg. And from there, Belstaff began to produce all types of all-weather jackets for motorcyclists, and it was the first company to use wax cotton during that time. The company later created weather-protective jackets for other uses. But yeah, we'll get more into that later on in the video where I'm going to show you the different archive pieces they had inside the exhibition. But yeah, so I finally made it to the exhibition. So this is the entrance to Gladstone Pottery Museum. That was really good because Belstaff used this building as to host their exhibition. So it was really nice to see them put back into the community and invest inside the community. But this was the entrance on the way in. It was cool because they had these videos where they showed people that used to work in the factory when it was still around.
And I think probably a lot of people have said to you that they always knew someone who worked at one of the pot lines for Belstaff. It was in the family, somebody knew somebody.
With a Stoke-on-Trent. I got into boxing through my father. He was a former boxer himself. My mum and dad, they met in the potteries industry then, as I think everyone did back in the day.
Unfortunately, we're in the marketing, aren't we? In like 30 years.
I think Belstaff did a really good. I think they did a really good exhibition this time around. It was really nice to see them delve more into the history, more into the people, and also tapping into Longton and the local community. I think as a British brand, that is the direction that they should be getting, because when I really check it, and I'll explain a little bit more later on, but the heritage of Belstaff is just over 100 years old. That's a lot of heritage there, man, that they can tap into. And I really feel like at the moment, people are kind of going back into the archive, and vintage is like quite a big thing. So yeah, I think Belstaff have got a lot of opportunity here. So it was really good to see them put this event on. Like for example, when I go into this room here, they had all these different archive pieces, which some of them went back. I mean, look, that one went back to 1950s, 1969. So I was really intrigued by the heritage of all this stuff, and it just gave the brand so much more depth. Like, although I was a big fan of Belstaff, I only kind of got into them, let's say, in about the early 2000s, or mid 2000s, like 2007 plus, I would say. So having insights about all the older stuff and how they used to make all the older jackets and the different people that used to wear them back in the day, I just found it fascinating, and it just adds more layer to the brand. So I mean, look at all these pieces, really cool wax jackets. This one's going back all the way to 1970s. So yeah, I think with the help of Jojo from Rag Parade, when I went to go and visit him, it's really given me an appreciation for a lot of this kind of vintage stuff. And I think Belstaff I think they've got a lot of more potential to tap in to the archive of their clothing and re-release some really cool pieces. Now, this room for me was really cool because it highlighted some jackets that were worn by celebrities. So I think this one at the front was worn by Steve McQueen. The other one here was worn by, well, we'll see in the sun in a minute. I forgot what the brand was called or who the person was. But these jackets were class, man. Really, really nice. And that you can see is the top of the pottery. This is like where they used to actually make the pots inside this kind of building. So here, this was worn by 1960s, and it was worn by Steve McQueen, as you can see there, and it was purchased in auction for 32,700 or something like that. So that was a really amazing collector's piece. We've got this Trial Masters piece as well. This one was worn by, I believe it was Chris Bollington, this one? Oh, sorry, this one was Sammy Miller that wore that one. So that's another classic collector's piece. And then you had this final piece here. I mean, in this room, you probably had about 60, 70 grand's worth of jacket, man. It was pretty crazy. So this section here called the Cloud Master Workshop, I thought was really good, and I really liked this section. It was basically a collaboration with Belstaff, Manchester, I think it was Design, I don't want to get it wrong, Manchester Fashion Institute, and also I believe it was Hypebeast as well, had set up this kind of foundation for young people, young designers to design what they thought would be the future of Belstaff design, so like concepts. So I thought that was really, really, really cool. So you had these students that made it to the finals, and then Belstaff actually went ahead and made the items. So these are the items that they come up with, and they're basically just concept pieces for the future. But what is amazing is that they're investing in UK talent, and I think that is something that is so important right now. And for British brands, I think this is something that they all should be doing. You know, if they're doing well and they're They're a British heritage brand. They should be exactly investing right back into the community, right back into the youth to do these type of projects and just give them some inspiration. So this was one of the girls' work here. She designed this jacket with all these different materials, functionalities and features. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be for some people's taste. It's more just a concept or a vision board to show what type of products can be made in the future. I think this stuff is wicked. I really enjoyed this part. So you see all the different designs that they've done and all the different kind of color boards, mood boards, the design details and all that type of stuff. Really, really cool. I mean, the youth is the future, man, so it makes sense for them to tap in. So as I was walking around, this was the main exhibition here and coffee shop. So I thought, well, this is why I'm here. This is what I want to see. So I made my way up to the top here. And again, it was really cool to be in the Gladstone Pottery Museum, which is a heritage building itself. And all the money and all the proceeds that was spent here all went back into the museum. So I was more than happy to contribute towards that. So this little coffee shop gave me some old school vibes. And what was cool is later on in the day, Belstaff and the Pottery Museum invited as many of the old staff that used to work inside the museums, inside the Belstaff factories. They invited them down for a dinner in that coffee room that we just saw, which I thought was really cool, man. I mean, that must have been nice for those employees to come back after all those years and come back and meet their former colleagues and just talk shop. So that was quite cool. So this room was basically an exhibition of all of the jackets. Well, not all, but as many jackets as they had in the archive. Some of the pieces were borrowed and some of the pieces was from Belstaff's own archive as well. This room was truly amazing because what it showed was the true heritage of Belstaff, which I didn't really clock. But when you think about it, Stone Island started in 1984 and Belstaff began in the early 1920s. I mean, they don't know exactly for sure exactly when the first jacket was made. I mean, this jacket right here is the oldest Belstaff jacket that they can recall, that they have in their collection. They don't know if there's any pieces before this, but this is the oldest one that they have in their archive, and that was circa 1920. So even just seeing this, I mean, and look at the quality and look at the quality on this jacket, man. I mean, the jackets then were built to last forever, like literally. So that was really amazing. So when I think about Stone Island having so much archive back to 1984, think of the archive that they could go back with Belstaff going over 100 years. And this is what I meant by there's an amazing opportunity for them to tap into some of their older jackets and bring them back to life. So yeah, I mean, it was amazing to see all these pieces, all the different concepts, all the different materials that they used. Very, very cool. And in fact, in a short moment, there was actually one of the designers who is one of the lead designers over at Belstaff, and we had a conversation and he was happy to take me around and do a little tour of this floor and explain the jackets to me. So I was really, really privileged to see that. So let's tap into that conversation now.
As well, so high quality.
And it's still in good nick.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like usually, like some of these degrade over time with the stitching and busting and everything. Yeah. So I'm a senior men's designer and the archivist for that. So if you've got any questions,
Oh man, so can you run me through some of these, like some of the pieces?
yeah, of course, no problem. Yeah.
So for example, this one, I don't know why I feel like it's got a bit of almost like German influence on this one.
Yeah, I think this so early designs for Belstaff in the 30s. It was like similar to dispatch riding coats that we used in the military. So this was like motorcycle wear at that time, and this is one of the earliest designs we have.
Wow.
So yeah, it's designed to be a fully waterproof coat, so it protects you from like head to toe. Like that's why they were so long. The bikes in that time were you're in a different season position. And when you get later, they get shorter because the bike kind of culture changed as well.
Got it.
But yeah, for detailing on these, it's incredible. You've got the angled map pocket under here that you can put the
for your map.
for your map, exactly. Belted silhouette to keep the wind out, like the snap adjustable cuffs, keep you protected, throat latch, so you can do it all up. So all of it's like real function-driven design. And this one's like degraded quite over time with great look. We've got kind of pristine examples as well.
Stunning. Stunning.
Ones like this one's an interesting one over here.
This one here?
Overlayers. So these are
I noticed that.
but you've got the brush check interior, you've got the waterproof yellow layer. It was like really an early innovation, similar to how Gore-Tex works today. You've got like multiple layers to keep the water out. Yeah, you've got the 4 layers keeping you warm, soft against the skin, keeps you waterproof, and then this is really durable. So if you were to fall off a bike or something.
Yeah, you still got a bit of protection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, these are like the oldest iteration up to the 40s. Belstaff was doing mostly coats.
Okay.
And in the late 40s, we started to move to shorter silhouettes.
Which is on the other side.
Yeah, on this side, on this road, it's more like the mid-century,
Right.
where you see a lot more of the American subculture and like rocker influence coming in.
Got it.
You know, like kind of Elvis Presley period.
Do we ever see Belstaff going back into the archive and bringing pieces like this now?
We do a lot of pieces like it, but we take inspiration every season. So we always start a season by looking at our archive and maybe referencing certain details. So, for example, that one, we've done a shading coat that's inspired by it.
I saw
with the
that.
Alchemist pocket.
Yeah.
We will take them. It's just a lot of these are quite hard to wear nowadays in their own iterations, so we try and modernise them. But we do this coat such an inspirational piece that we always, come back to and reference. But certain pieces we do just use straight up references. That leather jacket through there, we've done one that's in stores now, which is really close to it, but just modernised the fit a little bit. The one that's next to the pins and patch one there.
The leather one?
Yeah,
with
leather
the shading
one,
on the collar?
That one we've referenced before, but it's the one actually 4 in.
Oh yeah.
That's like a lovely leather one with like a fur
Oh,
lining.
beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, we've done a version of that this year. So.
Right, stunning. And this piece, this is it's really interesting.
It's incredible, yeah. So I think when that style of like conscious change in the late 50s, early 60s,
Right.
they were trying to make still really functional clothing, but bring more style to it. When you see the catalogues that they used to do with these, are all hand drawn, but yeah, it's like, so it's a plasticated like vinyl fabric, but it's got this digital tweed pattern. I think to make it more fashionable. It's a women's piece as well.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
It is really, it's a great piece, and they did this coat in the same print and other pieces at that time. So it's just it's got a great shape as well. I think this type of silhouette is definitely relevant now as well.
I was going to say, it's come back now, isn't it? It's funny how things swing around.
Like the wider legs, slight peg to it, the point collars.
It's all come back. It's all come back. It's crazy.
It's so relevant. I think, as you say, it seems like the younger generation in particular are really into all of this as well. And I think that's what's nice, that people are starting to celebrate this, want to wear it.
100%. I feel like platforms like Depop and Vintage have brought back that vintage because the young ones have gone into recycled clothing and bringing it back, and that's come back. You see that come back in the fashion, which is very cool.
So this is like real varied. So because we're a British brand, a lot of it was done for weatherproofing. So these ones are more vinyl, but that's actually. So that was the biggest thing for this brand. They welded them so they were waterproof. So this is kind of like how modern waterproof clothes are made. So welded and stitched. But it has got a real sheepskin lining. Stunning. So you've got the warmth of like the functional element, that's genuine sheepskin, but with the waterproof outer. But then also in the 50s, we then did expand our leather range. So the piece that's under here is a 50s leather, and then this one's from the 50s as well. It's got just a great silhouette. This one, and that's got the real sheepskin lining in there as well.
Beautiful.
It's super soft. These were sheep leather.
Right.
But quite a thick hide.
Yeah.
So you get this nice kind of patina growing on the side as well. But still really wearable. To be honest.
This is very interesting.
This is the most extreme one we've ever seen. But that's like our Charmaster, which is our most iconic jacket.
Right.
Early version of it. So that's early 60s one. Back with the kind of rockers of that period, Ton-Up boys, they'll put all the pins and patches on to show their kind of affiliation to what bikes they like. So these two are heavily customised. Right. I don't know if you've seen the other room for Trial Masters in the kiln. That's got all of the that shows more the progression of the design.
Yes.
But these are much more like, I guess, I love seeing how people customise their own jackets, made their own, and it's quite naive how some of them do it, and how they're just sticking and gluing patches on where they can.
It gives it a nice bit of character, doesn't it?
It does, definitely.
This piece has really caught my eye, this one here.
Yeah, that's great.
Is that a women's piece?
This is men's, so it's called like the astronaut jacket.
This is beautiful.
It's a great piece. So yeah, again, real fur lining.
Yeah.
Vinyl outside to be waterproof.
Yeah.
A lot of these were from the same period. We have catalogues in our archive with hand-drawn illustrations. Very of the era, like lighting cigarette with a drawing. But I think for details like covering the zip to protect the tank so you don't scratch it, stuff like that. And this we're doing autumn winter coming out this autumn winter. I've done a merino shielding version of this.
Wow.
So very much a similar design with the chest pocket.
Yeah.
Being like a beautiful Italian merino. So it is nice. We like reference back to it, but doing it in a way that feels more luxurious and
Yes.
premium now.
Yes.
So,
I was really impressed with what you guys done with the, is it the Cloud
Master, yeah, with the students.
with the students, and then showcasing what they perceive Belstaff could be in the future.
Yeah.
That was really cool. That was.
Yeah, it's a great day. The students did amazing work, and it's beautiful to work. Like students, when you're at university, you can be so creatively free.
Yes.
And do a project we made the
I
pieces
saw.
for them.
I saw.
And I think
Seeing it come to life from the illustrations to the actual pieces and the materials, I thought was spot on. That's really nice.
In the design team, we worked with them to help launch it with the factories, and then that's quite a lot of design is about that, like how you launch it, telling the pocket proportions.
Yeah.
To get it all looking exactly right. So no, they did a phenomenal job.
No,
I think
that's
they
really good.
They loved doing the project.
Yeah, and it's great to see Belstaff investing in the youth as well. You know, that's really good.
Working.
This one in the middle, it looks like a space suit almost. What's
This is amazing. So this is an RAF called oversuit.
Yeah.
So you wear that over your uniform to keep you dry. I think someone has hand painted the seams themselves to waterproof them more.
Okay.
But you've got the fur collar on that again just to keep the elements out. What I love about this period, so Belstaff is a military contractor, so made for most of its history for the military designs that a lot of brands would reference. You know, like the Navy smock there has been referenced by Stone Island, over the years. So we were making these back in from early days until a lot in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And we just keep finding new pieces that we didn't know we designed. This is
That's amazing. Yeah. So you guys are still coming across pieces. That was part of our
this
collection
one,
from them.
because on a lot of military, so say in this one you can see there's a stamp that says BMC.
Yes.
That stands for Belstaff Manufacturing Company.
Wow.
But that was kind of unknown until quite recently. So then we're finding all these pieces that we wouldn't have known we made. This one had that same stamp in it, and then later ones have the BIL, Belstaff International Limited, when it changed registration.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, and there's a great collector in America, someone who's military, he's loaned us a couple of these pieces. But he's got some extremely rare, like Belstaff ones. There's a style called the SBS Smock, it's in the book, there's only like 3 of those now.
I've got to get that book.
Is
the book on sale here?
Yeah, we've got some in the trade. I think they've been selling a few, but if not, I'm sure I think we still got some.
Yeah, I'll probably need to buy one
Are you
today
local
for sure.
to here, or have you?
No, I come down from London.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
just to
fantastic.
come down to this.
Oh, no,
Yeah, I'm a
that's
big Belstaff fan.
brilliant.
One of my favourite pieces is the one that Brad Pitt wore in the movie,
Oh,
Inglourious
Benjamin Button.
Bastards.
Oh, Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
Oh,
With the
fantastic.
fur, that's one of my favourite pieces.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Yeah, it's a great brand. I love working for it. But,
Yeah.
it's so much. You can pull so much into modern designs.
Yeah.
And we went deep and dig a bit more into our archive. And next season from SS25, we're putting labels in shirt jackets. When we really closely replicate something, we're going to reference and catalogue.
Yeah,
and little
exactly.
details like that. So
Yeah.
Not everything will be our Marvel.
No, of course. Yeah, no, I think it makes sense.
But it's great when you can see
Yeah.
these pieces.
I mean, thinking about it now, you've raised a good point. I didn't really think about it, but compared to like Stone Island CP Company, your archive is a lot greater. There's so much more pieces, isn't it?
We've got
going back to that piece was 1920.
Yeah,
over 100 years.
It's amazing. Like they're getting rarer and rarer the 30s ones, but from the 50s onwards, particularly because the brand was huge. The factory had employed so many people, and there's so many pieces out there. And I think, as you say, like the younger generation buy into it because you can buy second-hand things on eBay. There's like 7,000 used things on eBay at the moment.
Yeah. I've noticed that as well.
It's great, and it's just lovely that so many different people can buy into it. And I think, as you say, like for us to reference, to say this is about a quarter of what we have.
Right.
We have a lot more. We just wanted to show the different categories and the progression of the brand over the years. But there's so many great pieces, and I'm sure tons we don't know about.
Yeah.
Trying to build up the archive, build up the knowledge of the brand, and our current team are great as well. Like the brand team are doing a great job. We're just trying to communicate more. People have really responded so well to this. We just want to keep doing it.
No, I thought the campaign was really good, to be fair. And I know you worked with Jojo up in Rag Parade over in Sheffield. Yeah.
Jojo, been in touch with quite a bit. We borrowed a couple of pieces from him in the next row, actually.
Oh, you have some pieces here from him?
Yeah. So one of his is one that says Hell's Kitchen on the back.
Oh, that's his.
That's from him. That's from his personal.
Oh, okay.
And then round on the land steering, Jojo's got a lot of the Chris Boddington stuff.
Yes.
So,
when I went to his store, he showed me. So these his.
Orange one's his.
Wicked.
The blue one's his.
Yeah.
He gave us the gloves actually. The
Yes.
blue ones.
Oh, cool.
So we borrowed those from him, and we've got the other ones in our own archive.
Big shout to Jojo. Look. He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
He's really
yeah,
cool,
he's
Jojo. He'll be here tomorrow. We're doing a vintage.
Oh, is he?
tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, so he'll be doing
cool.
some bits here. But yeah, Jojo has had some incredible pieces over the
Yeah.
years, so definitely want to stay connected with him.
What is this?
Oh yes, so this is we used to make
Super-
tents and
oh, it's a
camping
tent.
equipment in the 1930s, and back then we used to do exclusive labels for every garment. So you've got this incredible like Belstaff tent logo. Someone found this in their loft and just got in touch
that,
with us
that's
and said,
crazy.
"Sorry, I do love on this as well." But the details, you've got even the Belstaff vice script written on the metal.
So interesting,
So,
man.
yeah, in the late 70s actually, Belstaff massively expanded their leather range. So
Yeah.
it was in the start, and then in the 50s, leather was a big focus. And then
Yeah.
back here, this was a really big range of quite sporty cafe racer styles with the band collar. So this is just one example from then, and it just gets a bit more modern with suits we've made, or the other one on the far left was designed by us but made by someone else.
Wow. And would they have put the name on themselves?
No, I think it's done at factories, to be honest. So a lot of, we're working with riders. A lot of bike brands at the time would make custom things for specific riders.
Right.
But some pieces, like over there, that would have been hand done.
Right.
These ones are more factory done, just to get all the different sponsorships, that they have will be applied by the factory making it.
Stunning.
So we borrowed a few of these actually, borrowed all of these. So Tim Dean rides now, so that's on the really modern suit on the far left.
Right.
These ones are from the 90s.
Stunning.
2000.
So are these a lot of these guys? Are they collectors?
These guys were riders, I think. So we borrowed these from the original riders. He's a rider as well.
Oh.
We found this one on eBay actually. I just came across it quite recently. So that's a real recent addition.
Where can one see? Where can one find the? Is that open to the public? The Belstaff archive? Is that somewhere where people can visit? Well, how do people see that?
Sadly not at the moment. This is the first big event we've done. So our design office is based in London, Chelsea, but we have it down in the basement. We have a storage room, but we're looking to move office next year and hopefully build something a bit more that you can show. Because at the moment it's purely storage, but we've had a lot of interest from people saying we should do this in
And
London.
people love stuff like this now. It's so big now.
So we might do a show in London with this at some point. It's something we're definitely going to look at after this weekend.
I'd love that.
Because we're London based ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's we just wanted to come up to Stoke to show.
I think it's brilliant that you come down
back to the roots of the
there.
brand.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. No, I really appreciate it.
No, thanks.
No, thanks, dude. I appreciate you taking
lovely to meet you.
your time out. And if I get my book, I'm going to come and get you to sign it for me, man.
God, I'm more happy.
I'd love that.
Yeah, I'm George.
So that was big shout out to George, who's one of the senior designers at Belstaff, who took the time out to take me around, talk about the brands, and he gave me so much insight, stuff that I wasn't really fully aware of. Like Belstaff did a lot of contractual business for the military back then. That's when they were known as the Belstaff International Trading Company. So yeah, that was amazing. I also got to speak to this other guy who used to work for Belstaff, and he was a cutter for like 13 years. So let's see what he has to say, because he dropped some really interesting knowledge. Right. So how did you get into it? How did it start for you?
My father was regimental sergeant major, and I said I'll join up. And he said, because he'd gone through the war, he'd landed D-Day and all that crap. And he said, no, he says two things people always want. One is food, one is clothing. You choose. So I started first as a tailor at a company called Bladen Brothers.
What was the name? Claberman's? Bladen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tailoring jackets.
Wow.
In them days, in like the 60s and 70s, you could get a phone call, somebody from overseas, say to win a job.
Wow. These are the pieces that you designed these pieces?
Yeah.
Wow. How does it feel coming back and seeing all the archive pieces?
It just made me old.
It's an amazing heritage though, isn't it? I think it's stunning.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I tell my kids about it. Mr. Grosby, being a Jewish man, for some reason or other, I don't know why, they have different yarmulkes, the skull caps.
Yes.
They have different colours for different. They used to shout me down and give me a business card and say, make me one of them to sign.
Wow.
So I used to do all his yarmulkes. He's a beautiful man.
Yeah.
Absolute beautiful man.
Wow. Interesting. It was so interesting meeting Dave and meeting George as well, who was the head designer. Dave, who was one of the lead cutters back when he used to work in the factory when he was a young man. it was really, really interesting to hear the history. And I think if more people were aware, or if Belstaff made more of what they're doing now, try to make it more apparent about the history, I think people would navigate more towards the brand. I just feel like Belstaff is one of those brands which is still under the radar a little bit. I feel like they need to be more out there. But one thing I would say is that their modern pieces, and I keep saying this, and it was interesting because I spoke to some lads and they said they felt that Belstaff missed the opportunity with the 100-year collection, because they released this kind of collection and it was quite modern, and they said it was a good opportunity for them to have gone back into the archive and look at some archive pieces and bring some of those pieces forward, whereas some of the archive collection, some of the 100-year archive collection that they brought out recently seemed quite modern. And I thought about it and I thought to myself, yeah, I could kind of understand what they're saying. With so much heritage, so much pieces in the archive, I mean, that's exactly what Stone Island continuously do. They continuously go back into the archive, continuously bringing pieces forward, even doing collaborations like what they did with Supreme, which was really cool to bring back some of those cool pieces. So I think there's still a massive opportunity for Belstaff to do some real class pieces, and I would even go as far as saying getting them made either here in the UK or getting them made in Italy. So you've got some really class quality items that they're bringing out, similar to when I done the Stone Island review and that guy, he done his collection. Make sure you check that video out, because that was a wicked collection and a wicked show of the examples of what Stone Island can produce. I think if we could see more of that with Belstaff, we could potentially see Belstaff really step up, because I feel like there's a gap in the market that Stone Island have left behind and have now gone and priced themselves out of a lot of people's kind of budgets. And I feel like Belstaff is one of those brands, if they're savvy enough and can tap in enough, they can take that market. They can really come in and fill the position in that market, because I'm a big Belstaff fan and I think they're doing some really good things. But as you can see here, I've kind of come out into the courtyard of the Gladstone Pottery Museum, and I was being a bit nosy, and I went and found this kind of hidden room, and I was really taken away and blown back by this room, because it was a pottery room, and this is where they would have made a lot of the pottery back in the day and probably would have finished it up. But I just felt that kind of old energy from this room. You could really feel what it might have been like to have been 100 years, 200 years ago in this room, and the people were working there and making, this class handmade pottery, which would have been shipped up and down the country and potentially overseas as well. So that was quite cool to see that. But yeah, that was it for the event. I left the event, I left feeling really kind of overwhelmed with the amount of information that I took in. Understanding way more about the brand, really appreciating the community that came out down there as well to see what was going on with Belstaff, and I'm excited for their future and to see what they'll be able to produce from it. To be honest, I think it's really good that they do events like this, and I would love to see more events like this from Belstaff. So the final thoughts is, I think Belstaff is still quite a niche brand. I don't think it's still up there like Stone Island and CP, which is not necessarily a bad thing at all, but I would like to see them be pushed more to the forefront. I think their prices are quite reasonable, but as I keep saying, I would just love them to bring out these kind of special pieces that relate back to the archive with special materials and different functionalities. I think people are really looking for that stuff at the moment, but at the same time, they don't want to pay really high price points. They want to pay reasonable price points. So hopefully we'll see more of that from Belstaff. But as you can see, I was making my way back now to the station, and I was walking through, and as I go up to these cities outside of London, people are always friendly, always welcoming, always ready for a chat. But it was really disappointing once again to see all these closed down buildings. I really hope that government will get a grip on this situation, because it's just really sad to see, man, the amount of potential and beautiful buildings and beautiful stores here just kind of abandoned because they're just too expensive. I mean, even look, the NatWest is closed down, so hopefully we can see a turnaround, because it's much needed in some of these smaller towns. Okay, but anyway, with that being said, I really enjoyed my trip up in Longton, and I'll be doing more videos like this, guys, so make sure you stay tuned for it. Okay, for now, I'm out of here. Peace.
similar one to that from Border Skins, you know,
Right.
Shirley.
Yeah.